Oh, okay, so what are we doing?
So we're going to be doing a Q&A with you, Stephen.
Oh, okay. I feel like I'm on Michael Parkinson. Do I look all right?
Yeah?
Yeah.
More than alright, you look fabulous.
So, my name is Stephen Davies, and I'm the knob by the hob. So, my favourite meal, I love surf and turf. The thing with surf and turf is, if you got I go to really good butchers. If you get a really good fillet of beef, and you get some fresh, whether it's lobster or king prawns or whatever, you can't go wrong. It's an easy dinner party thing it looks fabulous. It looks like you've made an effort and you've spent some money, but actually, it's quite quick and easy to do. But it's something a bit special as well because people don't have fillet steak and lobster every day of the week. And I have got a bit of a reputation for doing it at dinner parties. Like, for example, we had friends around last weekend and I did surf and turf. When we sat down to dinner, they asked what I was having, and I said, oh, we're going to have surf and turf. She goes, oh, I told you, Michael. And he goes, yeah, I've been really looking forward to this. So I was like just as well I did it. But what I enjoy doing, I like doing the shorter, easy recipes. We did a chicken sandwich, because I think one of the things that everybody that visits me or comes to dinner here, or Adam always says to me, I'm very quick at making food. I seem to make it look very easy, which is why I started doing this knob by the hob.
What has been your least favourite video and why?
Least favourite video? Yeah, so it was the one I was a bit disappointed with. My truffle mash wasn't. I don't know why. I don't want to put too much butter in it, but it wasn't quite as light as I wanted it to be. It felt a bit heavy, and I slightly overcooked the pork.
Right.
Not that it tasted any different. Yeah. And similarly with the surf and turf, actually, I think if you notice in the video, I said it was going to be medium rare, but it was actually more rare. But it did suit the people that were actually eating it because they like it rare, but normally it would be more medium rare. So it is a bit of you take a chance with that, especially when you cook. It's not so bad when you cook in the individual steaks, but when you cook in the whole fillet. Bizarrely, for somebody that's from a landlocked country, Adam loves fish, and his first go-to is seafood and fish, whether we go out for dinner or if you send him shopping, he'll come back with, he usually spent a fortune, but he'll come back with like loins of cod or monkfish and king prawns and stuff, and he loves seafood. The truth about me and fish and sushi, because Joe just mentioned one of my favourite restaurants in London is Rocker, which is a Japanese restaurant, is when I very, very first moved to London, my first boyfriend was the manager of a company called Peach Boy Limited, and Peach Boy Limited owned the first ever Japanese/sushi bar in London called Ajimura on Shelton Street. And it was a big Edwardian townhouse, and the restaurant was on the ground floor. And then we lived on the floors above, and we lived there for a few years. So I used to eat sushi till it was coming out of my ears. And I loved it, and it was at a time when I first came to London when, it was really cool that the sushi, I said it was one of the original sushi bars. It had already been there for quite a few years when I met Michael. Stars used to come there. And I'd been there, I've been at that sushi bar. Tina Turner had been there, David Bowie had been there, Sade, a lot of actors and actresses, because the theatres locally, they'd come there because it was one of the original sushi places. And it was amazing. Yeah, I really got into my Japanese food and my sushi. And so did my brother, because I've got a younger brother, Andrew. He's 9 years younger than me. So he used to love coming up to London to visit me, but he was only in he was only 12, 13 at the time. And actually a funny story about that is, when the sushi is served, you have the wasabi, which is the green paste, and you have fresh ginger. Before I could say anything, he whipped up the wasabi and stuck it in his mouth and ate it. And he goes, I thought that was avocado. And then did exactly the same thing with the ginger, and I'm thinking it was ham. First time he ever had sushi, to burn his head off. But he loves sushi as well.
Despite that experience.
But the weird thing is I've never made sushi. We should do a sushi thing. May, come here. So this is May. She's named after my maternal grandmother, and Arthur's named after my maternal grandfather. So it's very funny for my mother to hear me shouting Arthur and May when that's what Mum and Dad were called. So May is a Brussels Griffon, but she's got a little tiny bit of pug in her hence the blue eyes, because it was so she's 3/4 Brussels Griffon and 1/4 pug. And Adam's choice, not mine, but actually she is quite a little character. And she's 2 years old, and she's ruined, as you can see. Yes, we actually went to pick her up. We got her from, she's from a breeder up in the Midlands, and we actually picked her up on May Day. But the funny story about her is that when we went to pick her up, one of Adam's favourite Hollywood actresses was Ava Gardner. So he decided he wanted to call her Ava when we went to pick her up. But as we were driving up there, it was May Day, and I was thinking, oh, that's weird. I said, it's May Day. My grandmother's was called May, which is the wife of who I named Arthur after. I said, it might be nice just to call her May. And he was, oh, that's a really good idea. Let's call her May. When we collected her, the breeder said, she's had all her injections and stuff. Here's her injection card. What are you going to call her? And I said, we're going to call her May. She said, oh, that's a lovely name. She said, I'll just cross off what we've called, because we always give them a name, she said, before, when we have them. As she was about to cross the name off and write May, the name on the card was Ava. So that's like a bit weird. But it was like, ooh, that's a weird moment. Adam and I looked at each other thinking, ooh, imagine if he had stuck with the name, it would have been very weird. Yeah, the funny thing was, Arthur's, I thought Arthur was a classic only child dog. He's been ruined by me. Me and him have been through a lot together. He's very much like me personality-wise. He's neurotic. He's hard work. He's full on. He's a little aggressive at times. But we are, he's a lovely dog. We weren't sure about getting another dog. So when May turned up, she was tiny. We put them together and he just looked at her. And I know him so well. And the look in his eye was, I might kill her. And I kept saying to Adam, you've got to keep an eye on him, because if she does do something, he might just turn around and give her a good old shake and she'd be dead, because she was tiny. Anyway, I'm not quite sure what happened, but all of a sudden something clicked in him, and suddenly he absolutely adored her, and he wouldn't leave her alone, and they are glued together basically. So it's really funny to watch, and he's so sweet with her. She can take the food out of his bowl, she can take a treat out of his mouth, and she's not scared of him or anything. And if you see them playing together, it's been really good for him. And he's become a better dog, actually, since we've had her. He's calmed down. He's more relaxed. Yeah, he's getting older as well, because he's 11. I think the worst thing he did, and I got fined £80 for it, was he killed a couple of squirrels in Hyde Park. But it wasn't so much the killing of the squirrels, is that when he shook one of them, and as he shook it, he threw the squirrel and it landed, and this group of girls were having a picnic, and the squirrel just literally landed in the middle of their picnic. And they were screaming, which brought the attention of the park warden over, and I had to explain that the dog, and he said, oh, I'm really sorry, I'm going to fine you. It's an £80, I can't remember, £60 or £80 fine. I said, oh, it doesn't matter, that's fine. And so he said, I know it's stupid because there's so many of them, but we try not to have the dogs killing the squirrel. Yeah, so I did a HND in hotel catering and institutional management. The idea was to train to be a hotel manager. Back in the day when I dated girls, my first girlfriend, her father owned hotels, still does. And I used to work there on the weekends, and I just loved it. So I thought, great, this is what I want to do. I want to become a hotel manager and eventually own my own hotel, because I always wanted my own business. So I went to study at Cardiff. In fact, I went with Michelle. She also went to the college with me. She didn't finish the course. She got kicked out because she kept failing her physics, which was quite funny considering she probably had the most experience and most knowledge of the hotel industry than anybody that was on the course. So I went to Cardiff and I studied. And one of the aspects of being a hotel manager is you should be able to, if the chef turns up sick, or if the housekeeper turns up sick, or if somebody's not in, you'll be able to go into the kitchen or go into housekeeping and run that hotel. Should be able to do. So one of the things we did, the college at Colchester Avenue basically had its own restaurant. That was open to the public. All the students would work front of house and back of house. They would appoint a manager, and they'd have a theme, they'd design the menus, they'd do everything from scratch. And I really enjoyed that. And I loved working in the kitchen. I loved being front of house. And that's where I picked up, I think, my kind of background knowledge of food and catering. And then I went and did my industrial placement in London, in a hotel, Holiday Inn Marble Arch, and hated it. And realised I never wanted to work in hotels. It was too much hard work. It was just, I just hated it. I realized I was on the wrong side of the counter, you know. The one good thing that came out of going to catering college is that obviously it opened the door for me to move up to London, because obviously I was kind of, you know, realized I was gay, from a small town in Wales called Port Talbot. So I needed, you know, to fly. So that gave me the opportunity. So when I came up to London to do my industrial placement, I very quickly found a boyfriend who had a flat in Covent Garden. It's more than one way to the top. And the rest is history, as they say. So I didn't look back from there. And that was 36 years ago.